All right, welcome. We are in Algebra 1 in the second unit, linear equations and inequalities, solving linear equations and inequalities. This set is titled Linear Equations with Unknown Coefficients. Okay, so we're going to solve for x. X is our variable, but you'll notice they also have an a and a b. We don't know what a and b are, but they are to be treated like constants. And so we're going to solve for x, which means all of the other parts of this equation will end up on the right side. That a, that 5, that b, that 8, somehow those are all going to end up on the right, and we'll get there by doing some algebra. Okay, so first thing we need to do is distribute a so that we can get rid of those parentheses. So this will be 5a minus a times x equals bx minus 8. And now we want to put all our x's on one side of the equation. It would be preferable to have the coefficients be positive, so I'm going to add ax to both sides. So I get 5a equals ax plus bx minus 8. When I added ax to the left side of the equation, it canceled negative ax, and I just added it, so I can put that right at the front. I can put it anywhere I want, really. I just have to make sure it's positive, right? I've added it, so that plus what was already there. And now, we want to move the 8 to the other side because we want all the x's to be isolated, so we'll say 5a plus 8 equals ax plus bx. When I added 8 to this side of the equation, the negative 8 plus the 8 was 0. And when I added 8 to this side, I got 5a plus 8. Now, using the distributive property, we can factor out x from this sum. And that will look like x times a plus b. A times x here plus b times x there. All right? 5a plus 8. Now, x is being multiplied by something. We don't know what it is, but if we want x to be alone, we have to undo multiplication, which means we'll divide. So we'll say x equals, I can flip-flop the sides of my equation. This side of the equation now is 5a plus 8, and I'm dividing it by a plus b. And that's my solution right there. X is alone. All of those other parts, a and 5 and b and 8, they appear in this fraction. All right. We get a fraction 5a plus 8 divided by a plus b. Let's just confirm that that's what I had written, right? 5a plus 8, a plus b, and check, and we're good with that one. All right, next problem, we want to find what z is. I noticed that z is in several places, but there's also another unknown, so somewhere on this side of the equation, that v is going to appear, and these numbers and this p are going to somehow get to the right side. We'll see how that goes. First, we will factor out z. So z times 16 plus z times 29 can be written that way. I factored z out of each of these terms using the distributive property. That equals pz minus u. Now, I want all the z's on the left side, so I'll subtract pz. That's z times 16 plus 29 minus p times z equals negative u is all that's left on the right side. Now, same property, I can use the distributive property to factor out z. I've got z times this stuff, 16 plus 29, minus z times p, which is, so minus p. So z times this stuff is here, z times negative p is here. And now, I want z alone. It's being multiplied by all of this, so I need to divide to undo that. Z equals negative u over 16 plus 29 minus p. And that's my fractional answer. So I'll put it in here. We get v. I called it a u earlier, but whatever the variable is they gave you, so that's a v. And then we have 16 plus 29 minus p in the denominator. And remember, I needed that all to be negative. So let's look at, make sure I wrote in what I meant to. So this is a v. Negative v over 16 plus 29 minus p. And we're done with that one. Next one, we've got all of this stuff. There's a p, a d, a z, another z, and we're solving for z. Okay, so we need all our z's on one side. That means we need to unbury this z. It's stuck in the parentheses right now, so let's distribute negative p times d minus p times positive z equals 2z plus 59. Now, let's put all our z's on the left side of the equation, well, on the right side actually. So we'll keep it positives is y. So I'm going to add pz to both sides. So I have negative pd equals 2z's plus p times z plus 59. We can subtract 59 from both sides, so I get negative 50, negative 59, subtract 59 from what was already there, so negative 59 and negative pd, and then I can factor out z times 2 plus p. Now I can divide by what I was multiplying, so I can undo that and get z alone. Z should equal negative 59 minus pd divided by 2 plus p. Negative 59 minus, whoop. Let's try that again, shall we? P times d, and then in the denominator, I have forgotten, what did I write? Negative 59 minus pd, and then I have 2 plus p in the denominator. 2 plus p, and uh-oh, made a mistake. So let's see what happens. That happens, it's okay. Let's find out what we did. What I did, because you were doing fine, I'm sure. I will redo some of this. Let's see what I did here. We said negative p times d, that's here, negative pd, minus p times z, that's good, equals, uh-oh, haha, there it is. There's a negative on that too. I need to make sure I keep that. So there's a negative 2 there. There's a negative 2 here. There is a negative 2 here, right? So negative 2 times z, that's this part. And then, when I divided This should have had a negative on it. Okay, so I need a negative on that too. All right, I'm glad as a teacher that that happened, because I want you to see that it's okay if you make mistakes. That doesn't mean anyone's stupid. It just means there was a little mistake we made. That's all right. What you need to do as a learner when you do that is don't just scrap everything. See if you can find your mistake. If you can find your mistake, you'll be less likely to make that mistake in the future, and you will have learned more from the experience. So that's good. Let's move on. We're going to solve this one for y. So we want all the y's on the left side of the equation. So we'll subtract 6y from both sides. That gives me py minus 6y plus 7 equals q. I'm going to factor out y. That's y times p minus 6 plus 7 equals q. I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. And now I'm going to divide by p minus 6. And I will get y equals q minus 7 over p minus 6. See if I wrote that like I meant to. Q minus 7 over P minus 6, and we are done.